we are going to talk about renewable energy. And this is something that has never really been discussed on this podcast because the general consensus is that it is a good idea, both for the planet and as an investment. But Leigh here has a contrarian viewpoint.
The consensus opinion, as you just mentioned, completely believes that renewable power as structured today, and that would primarily be like wind, solar, and EVs, which be associated with those, will somehow solve the dilemma that we are in today. That is, we're producing a huge amount of our energy, which also produces a lot of CO2. However, over time, and we've been following this now very intensely for the last 4 to 5 years and doing a lot of research in it, is that our research basically uncovers a lot of characteristics about renewables, which people really have not focused on at all, which we believe make renewables will make them ultimately very, very poor investments. We're about to go down the path that is going to ultimately produce two very, very unsatisfactory conditions. First is that all this investment in CO2, in renewables will not wind up reducing the amount of CO2 that's being put in the atmosphere today. And what's happening in Europe is a classic example of what I'm just talking about. And second, it's going to have ultimately a huge impact on our ability to grow as an economy. In fact, if we make a transition from a hydrocarbon-based economy over to a fully renewable-based economy, because of the terrible energy efficiency that's associated with renewables, is that we're all going to get poorer.
So we're talking about renewables, solar, wind, geothermal. What is the problem with solar and wind? Why don't these work?
It has a lot to do with their energy density is very, very poor relative to hugdrocarbons. I mean, for example, you look at that gallon of gasoline that you put into your tank. That is hugely laden with energy. However, trying to collect energy from a wind that doesn't blow or a sun that doesn't shine, that gets behind the clouds, the energy density of that is very, very low. So what you have to do is you somehow have to make up for the lack of energy density and the resulting intermittency that's associated with both of them. So that means that you have to put in place a huge redundancy in the collection of energy from wind and solar. And ultimately, if you want to make it work, you have to put in battery storage as well. And both building all those windmills, all those solar panels, and then ultimately putting in all that battery storage in itself is incredibly energy intensive.